President Ramaphosa, who's really inspired us with a vision of a large, integrated African market with opportunities for citizens and enormous opportunities for entrepreneurs and businesses. Mr. President, may I welcome you to make your opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Minister Patel, and I extend my greetings to Scott and to Stephen and to Cass as well, and to all of you, and say welcome. I look forward to this engagement and want to focus more on your reflections, your thoughts, and your comments, and also your questions. And thank you for the numbers, Minister. What stands out to me, and I don't know what to make of it, that I have succeeded Queen Victoria in being head of state. I'm still dizzy from that. I truly welcome this opportunity, and Scott is right. We've had engagements in the past, and we haven't had this opportunity. I always welcome these types of engagements, and the UN General Assembly meetings gives us the opportunity to have this moment. I know that as business leaders, you are having to deal with a whole range of challenges that confront your businesses. And some of those are not only related to how your businesses function, but also to issues that are outside, like the current geopolitical situation in the world, the current situation in relation to climate change, and many others. So you as business leaders have to confront all these. We also have to deal with that at a political level and at a governance level. Being here at the United Nations gives us the opportunity to interact with a whole number of other world leaders dealing with challenges that many countries are facing. Minister Pando just came back from Cuba, where they were having a meeting of the G77, and many of the countries that participated in that are having to face issues of debt burdens to their own countries that have a negative impact on the economies of their countries. And indeed, as we come from Africa, you'll find that many African countries are having to deal with that. But you also have to deal with issues that have to do with technology, digital technologies, as well as artificial intelligence, and many, many other challenges. And it's good, and I'd like to hear how those have an impact on your businesses. A few months ago, we had to deal with one of the geopolitical issues that arose as a result of a war that is taking place far away from South Africa and from Africa. And we got entangled in a whole lot of issues around it, and we're quite happy to talk about that as well, as we took a particular stance, a stance that we want, that says that we have had to confront is the trading system in the world that is also having some impact on us in one way or another. And we have been arguing that we want to have a rules-based trading system in the world, and we want to promote more multilateralism so that all countries in the world should be able to be treated fairly, to trade fairly, and to be able to attract investments into their own economies, which bears out the truth about our own country. Our country is what we would call a trading nation, and we've been this type of nation for years, and we've benefited a great deal from investments from our colonial times, and even at this time as we are facing some headwinds in regard to governance systems in the world, rule-based, or rather the trading systems that are weakening across the world, we are concerned, and that's one of the things that we would be quite happy to talk about. We believe that we need to be advocating for the economy where we are now in the United Nations. We are arguing that the UN governance system, particularly the Security Council, should be reformed. But we are also arguing that the financial architecture of the world should also be reformed, and that the world should focus also more on development. And that is why at this UN meeting this time, we're also going to be focusing on the progress that we have made as the world, or not made, with regard to the Sustainable Development Goals. And we are also arguing that we need to focus on climate change, because in the end, our continent, Africa, bears a greater burden. Secretary General of the United Nations this morning said there are 20 hotspots in the world with regard to climate change, and Africa has 17 of them. So climate change has a huge impact on our economies. And in fact, if you come to think of it, the recent floods that we had in South Africa in one of our provinces actually devastated the company operations of a number of companies, like Toyota was badly affected, and a number of others. So climate change for us is a reality as we face all these challenges. But as a country, we are ambitious. We're very ambitious as a young democracy with regard to the areas that you are involved in, trade and investment. For us, this is like the lifeblood of our country, to have a thriving economy and to lead our people to prosperity. And in this regard, we are relying on a number of enablers. And one of those is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which Minister Patel referred to. We, together with other countries, pioneered the conclusion of this trade area, which, as he correctly says, is going to see to 1.4 billion people being real active consumers within the African market itself. And we're looking forward to this trade agreement or treaty becoming actualized. And as South Africa, we've already taken a lot of steps to ensure that we do move in that direction. A second enabler for us is the AGOA agreement. We've been participating in this, and we see this as a major area for us, or a major issue for us. As a participant, we've seen this as mutually beneficial, not only for South Africa, but also for the United States. For through this AGOA, jobs are also either sustained or created in the United States as they are in South Africa. It may not be in equal numbers, but we see this trade agreement being a very important one. And as you will have heard, we're looking forward to the extension of AGOA to the current beneficiary countries, and South Africa is one of those. We would like to see this being extended for another 10 years, and thereafter we can look at exactly what happens. We're rather pleased that the summit, the forum rather, is going to be held in South Africa, and this for us is important. It's also important because it will consolidate for us the presence of U.S. companies in South Africa. We have some 600 or so companies invested or based in South Africa, and we are pleased that they are growing in number, and that to us is an important development. The third one, we have an economic partnership agreement with the European Union and the United Kingdom. For us, this is another key enabler because it opens up trading links, investment links that we have been able over time to utilize. Later this year, we are going to have a forum or a discussion forum with the European Union to look very closely at how our partnership is working. Both sides are looking forward to it. And the fourth one, we're expanding our trade links with countries that are outside our continent, in the Middle East, as well as in the ASEAN area and Mercosur, and also the BRICS group of countries. You may well know that we held a very successful BRICS summit just a few weeks ago, and we welcomed new partners to this BRICS family of countries, and that is going to draw a lot of benefits for South Africa, indeed for those countries who are participating. And we look forward to more countries participating. What is the benefit to South Africa and to companies that operate in South Africa is that that BRICS relationship does enable a whole number of other benefits to flow, such as good trade agreements between South Africa and those BRICS countries. So it's not only a political club, it's much more than that. It flows into trade, it flows into investment, and for us that is very important. And of course we remain a member of the G20, which has just accepted Africa as a member, and that too is going to continue standing not only South Africa, but the continent in good stead. And South Africa stands almost in the middle. We have relations with countries in the north as well as countries in the global south. And we believe that we are well positioned to be able to do real good business with, trading with, and investment with. And accompanying all these things, we have ourselves have to address a number of challenges, as Kaskavodia was saying. There are a number of things we have to do in our own country to turn them into enablers, to be able to move to a higher platform of economic growth. And I will not go into the details because Cass has already started on that. In the past, as we have met, and Scott also referred to that, we have identified a number of areas where we need to foster reforms after years of neglect and after years, as Minister Patel was saying, of state capture as well. And the fortunate thing is that in our dealings with business, both internal and external, we've been able together to identify areas where reforms need to take place. And we have embarked on a journey of addressing the areas that have been of concern to business and in the end been of concern to our entire nation. For instance, we've had an energy crisis for quite a while, and it's an energy crisis that emanated from as early as 1998, and it has just been cascading downwards. And it is during this administration that we have decided that more firmly to arrest that and to bring about changes. And we are also changing the energy market structure in our country, bringing in the private sector to play a key role as well. This had never been done in the past, but we are doing so, and we are also restructuring our energy utility to make it much more efficient and address the many challenges that it has had in the past. The other area which Cass also alluded to is our logistics. And our logistics sector has been neglected over a number of years, and this is now being addressed. The good thing about it, as he said, is that we're working with the private sector. Private sector is a real, true partner in our journey of transforming our country and making it a lot better. And in this regard, we're opening up opportunities for the private sector to invest, to get concessions, and to be a true partner with us as we transform our transport logistics sector. And we've also had to focus on the industrial capacity of our country. We've had deindustrialization over a number of years, and we're now beginning to focus on how we can reindustrialize our economy. We've got towns that have become derelict, which used to be real industrial towns, and we now are saying we need to look at our regulatory processes and see how we can open up more investments to reindustrialize our country. And in this, we look forward to deeper participation, indeed, with the private sector, as we have embarked on this journey of transforming our economy. And in the transformation journey, we are really pleased that there are quite a number of companies, some of them here, that have embraced our message of transformation. We are a country that had, by policy, by practice, had decided that it will only open up opportunities to white people in our country. And with the new government having come in, we said we need to transform. We need to open up opportunities to all, and opportunities that will enable black people to be able to play a meaningful role in the economy of the country. And that has led us on the journey of what we call empowerment of the previously disadvantaged and bring them into economic opportunities as well. And we've had to look at areas where this can happen best, to encourage black people to get into business and to get businesses to help them to build up good businesses, but also in the workplace to enable employees of companies to get into share ownership. And this has been growing by leaps and bounds, and I'm pleased to say that some companies here have been part of that journey, and we are rather pleased that this is a development that has been well embraced. The other area for us, coming from our apartheid past, is in relation to skills development. The development of the skills of the majority of people in our country, black people, who have been denied opportunities to get good skills, decent education, is an area that we are focusing on. And in doing this, we are also joined by a number of companies that have decided to be part of this wonderful journey of ensuring that we extend good skills to our people. And I'm not going to talk about some of the companies that have, and we can talk about them during question and answer. We've really had wonderful relationships with a number of key companies here, and Minister referred to 125 years what happened with General Electric, and we're pleased that they're still in our country. And a number of those, number of companies that have now decided to be part of our journey are real partners in our country, and we're looking forward to more and more US-based companies being here. And Rick Mennel was telling me earlier that one of our South African companies that has invested here in the US is the largest investor in Montana and the largest tax-paying company. Now, this is not a one-way process where we want US companies to come and invest. Of course, we also are invested in the US, but that for us is really good news. But we do want more and more US companies to come and invest. And we're also pleased that US companies have participated actively in our investment drive. Almost 5 years ago, we set a target of raising $100 billion in investments in our country. We exceeded that, and U.S. companies played a key role, and some of them are here. We heard the numbers that they have invested, and we want more and more of that. I'm also pleased to hear that the Business Association, the U.S. Africa Business Council, and BUSA will be holding their inaugural business and investment forum on the margins of AGOA. So that we welcome, because what this tells us is that the relationship at the business level between the U.S. and South Africa is growing, and it's extending by leaps and bounds. And we're hoping that companies, U.S. companies, will participate in that forum in more ways than one, and we are going to be getting a number of companies on the continent to come and display their wares and their capability, and we would like U.S. companies to come and join that as well. So I do look forward to this dialogue that we're going to have now, so that we get to hear precisely what your concerns are, what your joys are, because let it not be only about complaints. Let me hear what makes you happy so that we can make you even happier. And those that are concerns can be raised so that we can address them. We are a government that is willing to engage with business, more than many that I know. And we are also a government that's willing to get proposals and views so that we can address those. A number of issues which were raised in our earlier discussions with Scott, as I said, are being addressed. Some have been addressed and been achieved, and others which you will raise today will also be addressed. That is a promise that I put forward. So I thank you for being here, and I look forward to our discussion. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Switch off.
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
Oh, no one would ever tell you that. At least no one in this room. Well, thank you.